head down in my eyes, and she says hi. Oh Lord, yeah. And I stumble to the breakfast table while the kids are going off to school. Goodbye. Lord God, she reaches out and takes my hand, kisses it and says, how you doing, hon? How am I doing? And I look across her smiling lips that warms my heart. See my morning sun. Oh, Jodina, the people, if you know, if you sing, if that's not a loving. You love reggae music, man. Yeah. Woo, 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 woo. Simba, my brother. I want you to massive sing with me. Wave them. Oh, I wake up in the morning with my head down in my eyes. She says, oh Lord, yeah. And I stumble to the breakfast table while the kids are going off to school. Goodbye, goodbye, oh Lord, Lord. She reaches out and takes my hand, kisses it and says, how you doing, hon? And I look across her smiling lips that warms my heart. See my morning sun. The reggae lovers in the party, can you sing it with me? If that's not loving me, loving me, then all I got to say, how are you sing it? Oh, Jah didn't make little green apples and it don't rain in Indianapolis in the summertime. In the summertime, boy. There's no such thing as Dr. Zeus, no Disneyland and no Mother Goose, no nursery rhyme. One more time, God didn't make the little green apples, and it don't rain in Indianapolis in the summertime, boy. You know it's true, yes. And when myself is feeling low, I think about a face aglow.
As we jam to some Chris Martin at one of our Reggae Wednesdays in the waterfront downtown, we welcome you to our final leg of the relay exchange for Jaria Open University, where we are running the track. We're in the final leg, and we're looking at managers, road managers, mainly managers. Music business is really big business, and for big business, we really need professionals who can strategize, who can negotiate, who can manage the careers of these talented individuals for success. Managers play a really important role in helping their artists make decisions about their careers. And this evening, we have some real big men, you know, in the studio with me. How we want to talk to them about how they navigate their roles as managers, their vision for the future, the artists they represent, and the music in general. And it really is an exchange. I forgot to tell you, but it's really not that important. My name is Colleen Douglas, and I'm really pleased to be your host this evening. With me, I have Mr. Herbie Miller, who hardly needs any introduction because everybody knows him in Jamaica. We know him as right now in this part of his life, he's the musical director and the curator for the Jamaica Music Museum. So musical director for Institute of Jamaica and curator for Jamaica Music Museum.
Let me correct that, because I am the director and curator for the Jamaica Music Museum,
located at the Institute of Jamaica.
Located at the Institute of Jamaica.
Give thanks. During his earlier years, before he got grey, you know, he managed Peter Tosh. Throughout the pinnacle of his career, Herbie has written and published more than 20 songs. He has produced Big Youth Singing Tea 10, which was released on the CD Aluta Continua. And I could say much more, but he does not like all that talk. Beside him, we have Kingy. I should say, Jaria, big up yourself. This is a man who refuses to do any kind of interview, so I'm really pleased to have you here with us this evening. He manages Chris Martin and CEO Kingy Production, and he's produced quite a number of tracks from Luton, Fire, Morgan, Heritage, Junior Kelly, Voicemail, Half Pint, Sizzler, Elaine, Wayne Wonder, Lady Saw, Shaggy, Charlie Black, Bounty Killer. Welcome, Kingy, and thanks. And
Thank
this one. And?
I'm saying thank you for having me.
Thank you for sharing space. And I could call him my son, you know, because I met him when he was really young. And I could call you Jaria Baby, artist manager, production, tour manager, audio engineer, and professionally registered electrical engineer who holds a degree. I never know say go to St. Augustine. Panda Hall there?
Yeah, man.
Oh, wow. I won't name that hall. Recently back for a little minute before he leaves us again, but we have to say big up and congratulations, Dwayne, who is management for Kabaka Pyramid, who recently won the Grammys. So we want to thank you for taking the time out, you know. Some people that fly up in them head and they not necessarily turn up here. But it's really great to have you here. You've been the technical director at Jaria for a couple of years, and so you're home.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me, you know. Blessing
Give
to
thanks.
be here, you know. Yeah, man.
Thank you. And this evening, it's really a conversation, as I see. You will hear very little from me. Who will hear from are these people, and I'm looking at Herbie Miller, because I want us to all share, all of you to share just how you started in the business. Starting with you, Herbie.
By just loving the music, loving, admiring those who made the music that inspired me. Among them the Wailers. And having met and hung out with those brothers, at the point when they split up, Peter Tosh asked me to take care of some business for him. And that's basically how I got into the business. The good thing for me is that Peter was signed to Columbia Records at the time. Mm-hmm. And while I had the basic cultural relationship and a level of understanding, communicating, and so on, I didn't really have much experience in the business itself. So I got some of that training because Peter was on Columbia, and I was able to go through that system to an extent and learn the inside of the bigger world of music.
Okay,
and that really, really was a good start.
How did you start, Kingy? Thank you, Herbie.
For me, it's an industry that I've always loved. I have a relative that is in the business. Well, he's an icon. He's an icon. So from time to time now,
man, tell me that.
Yeah, I can do that. Robert Livingston. Robert Livingston. So, you know, it's an industry I always love. Always ask him questions about it. And till one day, he tell me, say, I carry him on the road, go tour. And go tour with him, get to love it more and more, learn a lot of things. And then after a few years, in probably like 4 years, I was introduced to Chris. And we spoke and discuss business, and that's how I started the management part of it with Christopher Martin.
Oh, give thanks. Dwayne.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as mentioned before, I manage Kabaka Pyramid. Kabaka is someone that I have known from 11 years old, and he has always been someone, you know, in and around the music. Them time, in particular, with hip-hop music and that kind of thing, you know. Went to UA St. Augustine, learned electrical engineering. At that time, was a whole lot of artists, young artists amongst us and that kind of thing. Came back home, and basically the man never have nowhere for record, you know. So took it upon ourselves, myself and Abishai and the team, you know, to build a studio. Use what knowledge I had with electrical work, you know, the business work, what Abby know and that kind of thing, and came together and said, okay, build a studio and try to advance ourselves from there, you know. Kept pushing with the music, and just with, what's needed to achieve success, learning it on the fly, reading books, speaking with mentors, and with the development of the younger artists and the ones that wanted to pursue it seriously, we also developed ourselves on the management side to carry that talent to the people, and from there, with every step of success with the artists, came the need for a manager to carry that success to where it needs to be, and to hone that and to carry it to the people and to put the mechanisms around that. So we had to develop ourselves at the same time, So that is really where the start came from for me.
I actually love where you went, because I want to ask Herbie, what does it really take to be a manager?
Understanding and not taking every little... when you're managing, you're not just managing the main artist, in this case Kabaka, in my case Peter, in your case Chris. You're managing the whole entourage. And with that, it's almost like a parent at home with plenty of children, or a teacher in front of a class, and it comes with every kinds of vibe. You can imagine good vibe, bad vibe, and you have to be the one to keep it level, to make the entire group understand that as bad as things may look, it's gonna be good. And so you have to have a lot of patience. You have to, like I say, be a people person in many ways, yet at the same time, you have to be firm. One of the things that we must always endeavor to achieve is how to transition an artist out of our own cultural space into dealing internationally. I don't just mean to run up to Miami or New York and do a show and come back. How are you gonna spend 16 weeks on a bus with all kinds of us, including some foreigners as well, and not just be driven crazy? How are you gonna allow an artist to grow outside of this culture and yet maintain this culture? Because that's what the outside really wants. They don't want it coming and pretending, behaving, or trying to be them.
And now you water down the culture.
To be anything
They
else.
don't want it to do that.
Yeah, and I want Dwayne and Kenny, when we come back from the break, for you to pick up on this same conversation Herbie has started about what it takes to be a manager. You are tuned in to Reggae Open University. It is a Wednesday. It is our final Wednesday, the Relay, the Exchange, and we continue this conversation with managers when we get back.
Jamaica, the land of Bob Marley, Marcus Messiah Garvey, Usain Bolt, and of course, Reggae Month, the only month-long reggae music festival on planet Earth, where something reggae happens every day in the month of February, ranging from mega reggae concerts, reggae award ceremonies, and educational symposia on reggae. February is Reggae Month. Reggae Month is February, when Jamaica invites the world to come to Mecca, Reggae Mecca, and come catch the rhythm like no place else on earth, only in Jamaica.
And that's how I made to give him the go. Breathe, I'm delighted. Jano say my passion ignited. Got the music get me excited. I'm coming like a boss.
Reggae is global. Reggae is everywhere.
Yeah, reggae is my life, Cause I wasn't reggae, man, I walk out saying that or something.
We have something which the world craves even right now. Reggae is internationally known.
February is Reggae Month. Go catch the rhythm on Reggae Month TV, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. daily in February. Catch the mega reggae concerts, interesting reggae documentaries and symposia, reggae conversations with pioneers of the music, and lots more. Reggae Month TV all days in February, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on PBCJ and the Ministry of Culture social media pages. Get all the details real time on the Reggae Jamaica mobile app and come catch the rhythm this Reggae Month.
Welcome back to Jaria Open University, Reggae Open University with Jaria. It is a Thursday, forgive me, it's age and good conversation. So it's the Relay the Exchange. We have on our panel today, Herbie Miller, Kingy, they call him Kingy Letman, and Dwayne McDonald. We went out quite lively. And I wanted, Kingy, for you to pick up on what it really takes to be a manager.
To be a manager is, a lot of people say they claim on the glamour, but it's way more than that for me. Well, for us.
Straight.
You know, it's way more than that. It's a business. So when the finished product is there and you see all this glamour, the artists enjoying themselves, you see everybody come watch your show, behind the scenes it's a lot of work. You have to have that vision for the artist and make sure he's treading that route. Make sure him keep focused, because trust me, he might get sidetracked at some point, you know. Yeah, man, there's a lot of distractions here. So it's up to you, as Uncle Herbie said, to keep the team level-headed, keep focused, and don't get involved in the glim and the glamour where you see are going. Remember, you're the manager. You have to observe, see where it might take a wrong turn, see where the opportunities are, and introduce them to the artist. And lift the artist up, keep him going, keep him moving. Don't make him get down. Even personally, there are times when the artist, you might just see him and you might look away. It's your job to find out, why you look so today? What go on? You understand? Find out what is happening. It can be simple things, something major maybe. And you have to take the artist and say, nah, man, we can't do this or we can't do that, or we can't get this done away, or we can't get this done away. Don't worry about it. You take the artist problem on your head, keep the artist happy, keep him lightheaded, keep him performing.
So you're parenting, Herbie referred to
Just
that.
like that.
It's like a parent, Dwayne.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, the item I say. How I view it as well is a manager's responsibility is really to put systems around the talent to ensure the talent's success. Mm-hmm. So your responsibility is to really have, whether persons in roles or, you have to step in those roles themselves to ensure that the goals that you and the artist set and agree on, they're met. Whether it is a booking system, that might be a distribution system, that might be a touring system, that might be, putting together a band, that might be a publicist for proper PR, that might be artist development, voice training. All these are systems that play into the talent and develop the talent to get it to where it needs to be. And it's your job as a manager to put those things in place and to make sure they are working, and to assess them, I said it earlier, to optimize them, to ensure that they are growing at the scale that the artist needs to be growing with as well. And just to go back to what I said earlier as well, as it relates to setting the goals with the artist. Mm-hmm. It is your job also to define success with the artist, because success is not the same for every artist.
True.
Some artists' success is defined by money and assets based on what they can do with their music. Some it's by the message and how many people they can reach with that particular message. Some is by the level of the performance that they can give, and that is what and the systems that you put in place and the tools that you are managing, are geared around that definition of success, So, yeah.
I hope we have the time because I want him to pick up on two things. Kingy referred to team And I wanted us to talk a little bit about selection of that team. And when we move from team, I want us to go into artist brand development from your perspective. But talk to me, Herbie. I know you mentioned Tosh with the time you got him. Did you find that you have to build a team around him?
Well, there was already a wonderful team around Tosh. There was Robbie Shakespeare, Sly Dunbar in particular. And by the time we got the right team together, it was Keith Sterling and Robbie Lynn on keyboards and a number of different outstanding guitarists, in particular Darrell Thompson and Donald Kinsey. Darrell brought a more cutting-edge Jimi Hendrix-style rock, where Donald is from Indiana. His father was a legendary blues guitarist. He and his brothers had a blues band, so he brought that blues element to it. By the time we brought in the Tamlins as backup singers, they gave Peter's bold, forthright statements a sort of cushion. So it was more palatable to some. But the idea of what we measure as success, for us, obviously, we wanted to make a living for everybody too. But the message was paramount, especially during that period. You know, you had apartheid still taking place. You had so many Southwest African and East African countries still struggling for freedom. You know, the assassinating of great African leaders, Amilcar Cabral, etc., Stephen Biko. All these things are the things that we focused on in that band.
Okay. So Herbie spoke a lot about band, selection of band, the members, and the sound he wanted to put out.
Let me just make one more point. The best individual might not be the best fit for the team.
Amen.
Not because you're the batsman who can make the most runs or take the most wickets. It means you're going to fit into the team. We want a team player. So and that's what is very important as well.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Kingy, because Herbie spoke a lot about putting that band together for that particular sound and what aligned with her message, I want you to share with us some of the other parts that you've had to put together as a manager. What are some of the things you've had to take care of?
Well, for me, I would say it wasn't difficult because I was already in a team. I was, as I said, that began with Robert Livingston. Robert managed Shaggy. Shaggy had a team. So when I started managing Chris, the team was already in place. So whatever I wanted to know, I could easily go ask any one of them for information. If I wanted a band, once Shaggy wasn't working and the band was available, then of course, they will happily come and buy Chris. So gradually, we kind of change out. People get our own as Chris develops and becomes an artist of his own. Then we get our band. So it wasn't hard for us. I picked my team along the way because I already had a team. So I changed out members along the way as necessary.
Okay, Dwayne, I'm going to you for the step by step. You started with your 11-year-old brethren.
Yeah.
How did you build that team? And tell us some of the team members. I know you mentioned publicists. I know you mentioned some of those members, but take us through that.
Well, I mean, first I have to mention my business partner, Abishai Hoylett. You know, he and I both manage Kabaka. You know, and from the moment that we became serious as it relates to music as a business and a career, he and I were the ones that said, all right, we are going to take up this responsibility as management and from the business perspective for Kabaka. Kabaka himself is an integral part of his team also, separate and apart from the music and the talent. You know, the strategizing and the application of business principles, he's very good at that as well, and he's an integral part. When we formed the label Bebe Rock Music, it was the three of us that really, you know, pushed forward as it relates to the formalization of the label after, you know, a larger group of us had our group and everything like that, you know. And that commitment and that loyalty between the three of us kind of pushed us through all the challenges that we had, you know, as a team. And then steadily we grew, you know, a lot. And, you know, I must commend, you know, everyone that's a part of our team now, because a lot of the members of our team now are persons that saw the message and saw what Kabaka was about and wanted to be a part of that, you know, and reached out to us to say, You know, someone like Ronnie Tomlinson, Destiny Media, you know what I mean, who is our publicist. She reached out to us and said, boy, this is something, what you guys are doing is something I want to be a part of. And she has shown her commitment over the years, you know. The booking agents, the first time Kabaka went on tour, the booking agent was somebody that reached out to us and said, boy, we make something happen. You know what I mean? And we and them worked together to get Kabaka over into Europe for the first time. You know what I mean? So it is hard to put together a team of committed people that you can count and you can rely on, and when things are down, they are staying with the ship. You know what I mean? They're going to sink with the ship if the sink is going, but they're going to ensure that the ship is not sinking. You know? That's a very difficult thing to find. But at the same time, if you show what you're about, the level that you're looking to operate, and the talent that you have, and the commitment that you have to your craft, you will find that persons will come on board as well, you know?
So before we go out on this segment, I want each of you to take a minute and tell me, Herbie, was your mission aligned to your artists?
Definitely. We, especially Peter and I, saw the world through similar lenses. Sly tells a story that when we recorded Apartheid, he thought Peter had made up that word. He didn't know what Apartheid was. You know, and he without shame, he acknowledges that. But it is Peter and I who really were focused on how Peter's music and worldview was expressed through the music. And one of the key things in terms of commitment is that Sly, Robbie, Peter, and I would be the last to be compensated, to make everybody, especially definitely in the early days when you were making a lot of money, you were, you know, bungling up in a room and that sort of thing. But when it grew, then, you know, everybody was better off. But we were the ones who took the sacrifices to make the mission accomplished.
Give thanks. Kingy, your mission is aligned to Chris?
Well, continue making good music. The sky is the limit. The music is a gift from Jamaica, and we're going to take it to the world and take it as far and as wide as we can and take him to the pinnacle.
Well, I can see that. When I'm at shows with Kingy, I see the love of his artist on his face, because he doesn't stay at the back, you know, he's watching him from front of stage. Dwayne, should I really ask you, is the mission aligned?
100%, you know. I mean, what Kabaka represents right now in the music, is a positive, conscious artist, a lyricist also, representing reggae music as a younger youth, you know, is definitely, I am proud to be a part of that, and a part of that facet of the industry, you know what I mean? So, yeah, 150%.
Give thanks. And I'm proud to be among all of you this evening. Thank you so much for joining us on Jaria the Relay. I'm Colleen. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about brand building.
Reggae Month is February. February is Reggae Month. Go catch the rhythm on Reggae Month TV, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. daily in February. Catch the mega reggae concerts, interesting reggae documentaries and symposia, reggae conversations with pioneers of the music, and lots more. Reggae Month TV all days in February, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on PBCJ and the Ministry of Culture social media pages. Get all the details real time on the Reggae Jamaica mobile app, and come catch the rhythm this Reggae Month.
Proud of ourselves, Reggae Month TV. Proud of ourselves. Yes. This is Queen Africa. Keep it locked. Reggae Month TV. Load. Yeah.
We're seen running round with him again. Oh yeah. When you say you were through with him, you still care. Oh, Josh, I thought you were mine. That he told you wrong. Say, oh Lord, and when I'm running round, you're gonna be late.
You're tuned in to Jaria Reggae Open University. I'm Colleen Douglas. With me, we have Herbie Miller, Kingy Letman, and Dwayne McDonald. And we had quite an interesting conversation when we went off on the break. And we just want to continue it because a really wise man asked a question that we want you to respond to. If you're a good manager, then artists will approach you. You may actually see another artist that you become interested in representing. When you're expanding, how do you keep that focus and that commitment to your original artist? Herbie, we start with you.
In my case, it must be someone whose artistry, whose vision, whose worldview aligns with mine. You know, it's all well and good some hit maker once asked me to manage, but if it's all about just making a hit song that, you know, is just a regular hit song, I'd rather stay with a song or an artist with a true socio-political vision. That's my way of life. Those are the kinds of people I tend to hang around with. I've managed others. I've managed Arrow from, the late Arrow from Antigua. I've managed a stint with Third World, for example, Toots and the Maytals, the Scatterlights. But if you understand who all of these people are, they are within a particular lane of where the music is going. But while I appreciate those people singing out, oh, my heart is broken and I'll climb the ice mountain and swim the widest sea, that's okay, but it's not for me.
All right, give thanks, Herbie. Kingy, you've been approached?
We sound like you're talking about my artist. My artist is lover from birth, you know.
No, man, but
Modern Valentine's Day.
It's good time business.
Big for the ladies.
But that's
good time
Herbie
business.
mission.
Yeah, man, okay, be good. No, okay, be good. Well, for me, I don't mind managing other artists, but they have to have the same or similar vision as I do. And they have to, if you notice, Christopher Martin, D Major, I do some work with Wayne Wonder. They are all clean-cut artists, lovers rock type of artists, no vulgarity, nothing like that. They have to be in that lane, that type of music. You understand? I can't tell the artist where 2, 3 o'clock a morning, my phone a ring. Me say, boy, you know you have to go down a station. Yeah, I want to work easy. Chris, D Major, they want to make my work easy. We can go to bed and sleep comfortable. I'm not worried.
So if another Chris comes along, would you consider it?
Maybe not, honestly, because I'm about career building. I'm not in the music to hustle to say, boy, artists are bad, can't make money off him. Nah, that's not me. We have to be building careers. We have to have that type of relationship where we both see the same vision. We don't want a man come with a song where, because our noise make now, he want to make a noise here, if we go collect a big money next week, and then the next week we say, well, him say, boy, a noise now make again, you know, what we have to do? No, we have to have a vision. And also, this is what we're working towards, and trust me, you won't have a problem.
Give thanks.
You won't have a problem.
Give thanks. I didn't realize you could talk so much. But do we know about you?
Well, we spoke in the earlier segment in regards to team. You know, I'm not speaking from more of the practical sense of, as you asked, if another artist or a few other artists come along with interest to be managed, you know, how do you deal with that situation? And it's really about the team that you have in place, to me, you know, whether or not you have the resources, the time, the brain space, everything, the systems to serve more than one act, you know. I definitely would like to see the industry move in the direction of management companies, you know. In the international space, you know, that's par for the course. Standard, you know, par for the course it's really the answer to the question. You know, in a simple way, you know, management companies need to be formed, just like production houses, just like labels, management companies. And as management companies grow, they bring on more artists.
Precisely.
They bring on younger management, train them, develop them to a point where younger management can be assigned to, you know, different acts and the company can grow and everything feeds into itself, you know. So that is really a more about industry growth And maybe ourselves as managers too, having the foresight and the ambition to think on that scale, to say, boy, all right, we carry this artist to where we wanted to carry them, and we will continue to maintain that, but we want to go grander now.
Yeah,
you know,
precisely.
and what do we need to do? We need to partner with more people. We need to form companies. We need to train people and know that, all right, I'm training this person, so 3 years down the line, them on the road with that artist. And I trust them, and they're doing great. And they're going to come to the company with ideas, or come to the company with an artist, you know. So that is something that definitely, I think, from a reggae industry perspective, that, you know, we need to look on as managers.
I like how you're carrying
Everything
the
he
conversation.
has said.
Yeah, no, I
is
really
pertinent.
appreciate how Dwayne's carrying the conversation each time we need to go somewhere else.
Precisely.
State of industry, how do we get there? To that shaping of management companies, training of managers. in the
Mentorship,
business.
you take on a roadie, for example. That young person doesn't want to be the roadie forever. Certainly if there's ambition, so you mentor that person till you can provide more responsibility, till you can build your team beyond yourself and your primary artist, so that you can build a stable of artists. And that's not difficult to do. It's just that if it's something you want to do. And it's very important because that's expanding the industry. It's really not just artist development, but personal development for all at whatever level in the organization one functions.
Right.
So in the future, you can, as you said, send this person on the road and you're not worrying because the training was put in. And that's very, very important.
Thank you. Kingy, any
Totally
thoughts?
agree with him. I think I'm an example. When I started out, as I said, I just, Robert just said, yeah, man, you can't come on the road, I carry on the road. I go up on the road as a roadie. They didn't even know what was the role of a roadie. But I learned on the job training. I learned. And eventually I came back, learned some studio thing, then, learned some equipment, learning some stuff. Then, when I got introduced to Chris and, decided that, okay, and I went to ask Shaggy, I asked Rick Rock, I asked Robert, and they were all excited and said, yeah, man, do you think, man, what do you feel? Me learn, and as we said, we interchange. I have my own team now, and I'm building. Right now I have roadies where, if I feel like, say, boy, something come up, I cannot go on the road, I can say to him, yo, B, you need this to me, can't make it today. Yeah, so mentorship, it works, and we can expand. I know that. We can expand and take on more artists, but for me, I am super focused. I'm super focused and determined to carry the career to the highest level. And I don't want to be distracted. So I probably would take on another artist, but you must work with it.
When the right time
When the right time comes.
When the right time comes.
I feel like I need that song in a minute. Dwayne, you have any further thoughts on how we get to management company model?
Well, a part of it as well is the mindset of anyone that's interested in music. So a lot of people will call a phone, I don't know how much people will call our phones to say, yo, I want to get into management. I don't know how many of them calls that I personally get at least. I will get calls about, being an artist or, that side of things. But I do think that we need more younger persons interested in that side of the business, and maybe what that means is exposing them to that opportunity and that reality so that they can see that option for themselves,
I'm happy you say that because, I work at an arts college, and just last week I was having a conversation about arts entrepreneurship and how much of that we actually have in our current curriculum.
Yeah.
And if a part of our responsibility, those of us who are in education, isn't it part of our responsibility to ensure that that is incorporated in the curriculum, not if you're just doing arts management, but once you're doing any kind of arts studies, that is there. But you were speaking and I immediately thought of internships. Do we have enough of that? An apprenticeship kind of system?
Agree.
How many interns do you take on consciously, Kingy, for to train somebody?
I view my road managers as internship, because that's what they started out until they are developing to a point where they can handle themselves. I have a few people out there that still call me and ask me for directions, and I do point them in the right directions. They call me for a lot of stuff, man, all while them call me, and they are so appreciative, man. And I feel good to see how excited they are to know that, wow, I can really do this,
Herbie, give thanks, Kingy. When you look at where we are today versus where we were when you were managing Peter, how far have we come? Have we grown? Are you happy?
Most definitely we have grown. I mean, in my days, man, what we made for a tour is what these young men and ladies make today for a show. So it started somewhere. On whose shoulder do they stand? One of the things we did a lot was to share information, good information and bad one.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them who are the bad promoters. Tell them who are the ones who will pay you and then send somebody to rob you.
Yeah.
Don't be ashamed. It's like healthcare. Don't be ashamed to tell people, say, look, so-and-so is a problem if you do so-and-so. So I always share that kind of information. When you look at the amount of artist management as you have today, in my day it was me and Dan Taylor.
Oh.
You see? Colin Leslie was there for a quick minute. There wasn't anyone else. So, and we learned a lot by just being there. Some of us learned by the good luck of having an industry support you in some ways. But, oh man, the industry has grown tremendously. I'm very happy where it is. These young men have moved it beyond our dreams, I mean, in my days, we did what we did. We struggled through, we shared information. We opened a lot of doors. We went to countries we never dreamt of getting into. But we shared that information with the next set of guys. So said, this is how you're going to Italy at a time when the terrorism was reigning there, when communism was, a big thing there. And a lot of Americans weren't going there. We figured reggae got there. So you shared that with our contemporaries.
I have to beg the producer to whisper in my ears if I have another segment for this segment. But but I wanted to ask Kingy and Dwayne, if you're conscious of the shoulders you stand on, and if you find the journey easy. There's this thing sometimes that we take for granted, that this was how it was when we had the struggle, and we have the generational battles sometimes. How do you feel about what Herbie would have put in place for you?
You have to be conscious, If you go on the road, their legacy is there for you to see. And everyone will tell you about it. What they did. You go to this venue and you're like, remember that time they went Tash and, and my whole life was influenced by that. The promoters you are dealing with now, they are the children of persons that went to his show.
Oh, awesome.
You understand? Many, many times we have encountered that. And they are telling you about the legacy and the responsibility. And so you feel that, And for me, it's a great thing, because that gives us fulfillment. As it relates to what we're doing, that is bigger than just me and my brethren them I try, do a thing, and it's inspiring as well, And as you said, the good and the bad too, because we'll hear about the bad as well, and that within itself will, I guess, push us to be better, and push us to damage correct when we need to damage correct also. And at the end of the day, it's reggae music. Reggae music is it's the greatest music in the world, And we know what it has done and the impact that it has done all across the world. So if you take up yourself to say, you are deal with reggae music and you are a manager, reggae artist, that alone is a huge responsibility, you know. So.
And give thanks to Wayne Kingy. We talk when we come back because we're going to go to a break. I'm very curious about all this money we want to make. Yeah, we want to talk about the money, the money business. If you're just joining us, thanks to PBCJ, we are tuning live. We're also on Jaria's YouTube. I'm Colleen Douglas. With me, we have Herbie Miller, Kingy Letman, Dwayne McDonald, and we're on the Relay Xchange, Jaria Reggae Open University 2023. We soon come back.
Reggae Month is February. February is Reggae Month. Go catch the rhythm on Reggae Month TV, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. daily in February. Catch the mega reggae concerts, interesting reggae documentaries and symposia, reggae conversations with pioneers of the music, and lots more. Reggae Month TV all days in February, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on PBCJ and the Ministry of Culture social media pages. Get all the details real time on the Reggae Jamaica mobile app and come catch the rhythm this Reggae Month.
I'm sure my days will be long and my nights won't be few. Through the vision that's in me, I can see it clearly that there is gonna be peace, love and harmony, black understanding among my people. Oh yes, among my people. We're gonna jump and shout, Black Liberation Day. Oh yes, we're gonna sing and shout, the right understanding day. Oh yes, we're gonna jump and shout, Black Liberation Day. Oh yes, we're gonna sing and shout, the right.
Yes, we're not gone nowhere. We are still here. Welcome back. I like where we left out, so we want to talk about investment. How do you invest so that when you're Herbie's age, you can live the way Herbie is living? So we'll talk about that. But I want to spend some time and say thank you to some wonderful people. Reggae Month started 2008, and every year it's made possible by some kind sponsors. This year I want to thank UDC, that's Urban Development Corporation, the Chase Fund as usual, Ray and Nephew, Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports, MCGES, PBCJ, Creation Foods. I'm begging a pardon if I forget one, I think I've forgotten one. I will remind myself shortly, or somebody will text it to me. Kingy, may I talk about investment? You look very happy. And I think rich people are happy people. People who invest are happy when you invest in the right places.
Put it this way, you always have to have a happy outlook, regardless if you are rich or not. You have to be rich in spirit in order to get the riches in your pocket.
What do you do with the money?
When I do the money, I spend it back in the industry, invest in the artists so we can get bigger. You understand? When you find a little thing, you can put it somewhere, you catch it somewhere, because you know, say, you never know, there might be a rainy day, there might be COVID. You have to put on a little thing aside.
Retirement fund?
Of course, that's definitely. But for now, you have to invest back in the product so you can get back the outcome, so you can have enough, so you can put something aside.
Right, give thanks, sir. Dwayne, may I come to Herbie last, because I know already.
No, Kingy say it, man. Kingy say it. I mean, you have to put in to get out, so and every level you build into the next level, and to build to the next level you need to invest in yourself, so as Herbie said earlier, you have to make a living, so you're looking to earn from all the various revenue streams that are available to artists right now. But once you collect, I want
you to name them, for that young manager looking on, some revenue streams for artists.
All right, well, of course, shows, performing, publishing, distribution, that's selling the actual music, endorsements is another one, neighboring rights, which is, something similar to publishing, but a little bit different. It's more for the artists and less for the songwriter, are just a few of them. We live in a time now as well where content creation in itself is kind of a new revenue stream, you know, subscription services to content that you give to your fans and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's quite a number of revenue streams that are there, you know. Maybe if I did prepare for that particular topic,
you'd have more.
I'd a reel off
okay.
all 50
we need
of
another
them.
hour.
You know, we need another hour. But yeah, I mean, and collecting from all these streams, you know, looking on which one is working for you and your artists, which one is really bringing in the bucks, and either doubling down on that or looking to augment one that is falling short that should be better, you know, which takes investment as well. So, yeah.
Give thanks. Herbie, one of the things, and you've experienced it, one of the saddest things for me is when an artist gets sick and we have to go fund me, or we come on TV and we beg for some help, or somebody passes away and we can't send them off in dignity because they are broke. Where did we go wrong with that?
It's really distressing when these things happen and to whom it happens. You know, one of the things I said to every artist I work with, it's a profession, no less than a doctor, dentist, lawyer, whatever. You're just really self-employed. So you don't have that retirement thing and superannuation and housing trusts and all that being automatically taken out. However, you can, first of all, pay your taxes so you don't get over taxed at the later stage. But throw a little money in the housing trust thing, maybe not for you, maybe you make enough money to that, but it's a way of saving the national saving thing, I don't even remember what you call it now. But also an individual retirement fund. And that is where personal management is different from business management. You sit with your business management at the end of the tour with all this income. Don't go check into no fancy hotel with the big champagne and wash your car with that.
Hoping on the next tour comes soon.
Exactly. Put something in there for that day when you might have to be ending up in the hospital, or you know, when you want to say you get to a stage in life when you see, well, wow, that compound interest really works.
It works, yes.
You know, listen, brethren, 30 years not short, not long.
Yeah. Not long.
It is not long.
We've discovered.
It's a short period when you're tired of the road now and stuff like that. But you can't leave because you're still dependent on that little thing coming.
As much as you want to leave, you can't leave.
So the key is in investment circles, I say, pay yourself first.
Yes.
In other words, put away that little emergency money for the emergency fund. Then you put away your retirement money, you don't touch that. Get a good money manager to help you to do the things that we weren't taught to do.
Right.
Yes.
So you don't make what reach certain one of our heroes reach us. And we should be all right when you start get gray. And when you say you're big and rich and powerful, but you can go to the doctor, and you can have a decent home, and you might have a pool and all them fancy things. If you want that, fine. I don't need that. But you have a proper vehicle. You know, your children got a proper schooling.
Yes.
But remember, you know, we now are better off than our parents in general. So we're some of us just go primary school and that's the end of that. I'm so proud when I drive up to pick up some of the little grand picnic them at a Papa school. You see a DJ drive up to and pick up his little picnic.
Yes, man.
It's a wonderful thing to see how education for the next generation. I know among some of us, our children are lawyers and lecturers and
music managers.
And managers. And not just some little service or provider.
Yes, yes.
Serve people, but at a different level. And you know, I have one musician friend. His daughter is an extremely powerful lady on Wall Street. You understand? And that's how we set the future.
Yes.
You pass it on.
You know,
you pass it to your younger brethren and sisters.
I think we needed some more time for this conversation, but as you say, build the future, and we think of future of industry. What I noticed was I was the only girl on the panel, And it doesn't make me feel special. It makes me wonder, where are the female managers in Jamaica?
I think you have quite a few of them.
We have quite a few.
Don't we?
Definitely.
You have some.
Man.
April, that manages Rasa now.
Yes, young,
upcoming. You know.
Yeah, man. Quite a few there.
We've had Miss Kemp, we've had
Miss Kemp, of course. And Miss Kemp has stuck to it. Miss Kemp is from younger than my time, but
and coming from insurance.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But you know, as we go, so I think that both women, men, women, and I don't know if it's probably easy. That's a whole different conversation about the gender issues, that's why some women might not. Dwayne, I think we have about 5 minutes to go. I did say that we wanted to talk a little bit about brand development, that development of your artists. Whether or not you started at the same place. Kingy, for you, we all watch Chris on TV. Somebody would have spotted him, and how do you go with that? What that conscious decision that you make? Do you guide the artist into creating this brand they want for themselves, or do you, from them, understand what they're about and develop that brand based on their own outlook?
Yeah, I think it's the latter, you know. From whatever you notice in them that's extraordinary or special, you know, and what they are naturally as well, is what I would recommend someone focus on in building the brand. You know, at the end of the day, if you build a brand that's completely opposite to the artist, you will be fighting an uphill battle the entire career of the artists themselves. And also, you know, 2023, we're living on the social media time right now. You know, things are very close contact, very touchable, you know.
Of separation.
Exactly, you know. So what an artist posts on social media is a big part of their brand and what is the public brand right now. And more often than not, what an artist posts on social media is what they would naturally post on social media. And if it's not what they naturally would post, it's picked up by persons and they're seen as fake or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, so you kind of have to work with the artist's energy to develop their brand, but you have to help to guide what that is, the good aspects of it and the aspects that would benefit their music, the type of music that they're projecting, you know, the fan base that they have and what's working for them. You know, so you definitely, it's a combination of the artist's innate personality and who they are, as well as guiding that.
What they put on. Yeah. Digital footprint, Kingy, do you manage that for your artists, or you allow the artist to just be?
The artist does his own, but there are times when if the work becomes hectic, we might have someone for a short period who might interject and might post 1 hour, very, very few, for probably a short period of time if he's that busy. But he does it mostly for himself. I would say 98% of the time. 98%. But there are times when if there's a song and the song have you really, really busy, you've been on the road, you don't want to have that empty space. So you might say to someone, look, can you do this for me for this short period of a time? So it does happen at times, but it's very, very rare.
And when
he has to approve it.
Okay, because I was about to say, when someone does it, you have to make sure that that voice is the artist's voice and not that someone's voice. Herbie, you have any thoughts on this digital?
No.
I mean, what that you did I go say? Him barely there on WhatsApp.
But you know, these younger folks, they have it pat, man, and they know how to use that as a platform to build artist image, and at the same time, you have to be so careful that the artist doesn't get in a moment to be an embarrassment to themselves. You know how social media is, just one slip of the pushing of that button and the wrong thing goes out there. Then you have to come back to correcting that thing and turn it around and so on. In my days, we didn't talk about branding, we talked about trademark. And Peter's trademark was to legalize it.
To legalize it.
Was to set Africa free.
And it was strong, because we still have that today, him as a leader.
And it never embarrassed us, the fact that he was arrested, beaten, etc., for his advocacy. it's only lamentable that he did not live long enough to see Mandela walk free after he was the first pop artist to sing about apartheid. He didn't live long enough to see, even in Jamaica, the partial freeing up of ganja, herb, whatever you call it, to the point where you have smoke shops all about the place. He paid dearly for having his draw weed, his different brands and what have you in his motor car.
We stand on his shoulders every time we light up or steam up.
If I can just add one more thing, as relates to branding, the brand that you develop with the artist can heavily affect the decisions you make too. The shows that you take, the endorsements that you do, the contracts that you sign, even who you collab with. You know, so in developing that brand, that's something to take into consideration as well. You know, how it will affect your decisions down the road. So.
I know we're coming to the close. You know, when you were talking about social, I'm very fascinated with that data-driven tours, you know, how you use back-end information from social media to determine where you go, because you can see where your audiences are, and the information is so disaggregated that you can actually know how much man they are, so much mail shirt may go make. That kind of thing is with social media is not just to look pretty on the face, but our managers are using the back end. I want a last word from all three of you to encourage somebody to start that management company or to get into music management. What's your word to them?
Well, I just want to say this music is a great music, and there's a responsibility to all of us to develop the industry, you know. There is a moving goalpost as well. Every day the industry changes, the systems change, and it's important for us to educate ourselves so that we can properly manage the artists. And no matter what anybody tell you, managers are needed, and managers are an integral part of artists' career.
Kingy?
Yeah, it's a wonderful industry. It's a wonderful culture. It is beautiful out there. Come on board.
My company next door.
Come on board.
So beautiful with eyes half closed. Herbie?
It allows for entertaining and educating at the same time, for spreading messages that serve humanity beyond just jollificating. One of the things I want to address is that today technology has allowed young managers as yourselves to judge the demographic and deal with that. In our days, you waited for the marketing department to get the feedback from the distributors, not just the feedback positively, but how many returns were there to figure out if it even makes sense to go toward that particular neighborhood.
We give thanks. We give thanks for an industry that I'm most at home. Is I ever tell you that I'm happiest around music people? Yes. So it is our final Jaria Reggae Open University for February at least. I do believe that PBCJ by now is fully convinced that this kind of conversation is important to Jamaica to share about this wonderful music we call reggae. So they will call Jaria and say, come once per month with these conversations. So we look forward to that. Jaria Reggae Open University, the Relay Exchange has been the theme for this month, and we are very happy that we have the Grammy Award winning manager Dwayne who joined us. Me dupe, Mr. Kingy Letman, thank you. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, and my very good gentleman friend here, Mr. Herbie Miller, for taking time and sharing space with the young people.
Give thanks, Colleen. But speaking of the station here, perhaps to extend this sort of forum, they might want to offer you one evening per month, week, whatever, to continue this kind of dialogue.
No, I agree, because it's important. It really is important. Dwayne said it early, it's not just glamour and glitter. It is really big business, and if it's big business, we have to take it seriously, and as much as possible, I see the rap. It is as big as the rap on my head. He's behind there directing. Thank you so much. It has been my pleasure. I'm Colleen Douglas, and I will see you next month right here at PBCJ.